Shantiera goes ham. This ain't no messy podcast, but you can come get inspired by the best in the land. From rags to riches, navigating through business. Found out where I stand and bow down to no man. Turn a gift into the seed and watch my garden grow. Now my family can eat, ain't gotta hustle the streets. I manifested this lifestyle, now it's calling my name. Let's see who dropped by, give you a little bit of wisdom and game. So, all right. What's going on, everybody? It is your girl, Shantiera, where Shantiera goes ham. I have, why'd you laugh?
I always laugh.
Okay. I have Justin Cornwell.
That's me.
Yes, in the building. We are at the premiere for Boy Girl.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Boys and Girls 2.0.
Okay, Boys and Girls 2.0. Correct me. There we go. So listen, I didn't get to see yours.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, but I heard about it. I heard you tell me about it. So
yeah, my one was like I was a football player, like a professional football player, but I got cut from the team and my girl left.
That's all bad.
Once you tell your girl to get a job after you've been rich, it's
yeah,
over.
no, you spoiled her. If you're rich, I mean, I'm pretty sure you spoiled your girl.
Yeah.
So
you'd
it's
be like, hey, we're not rich no more. She's like, nah, you not rich no more. I'm gonna get mine.
Okay, all those vows are out the window. Well, she's a girlfriend, so no vows at that
not
point.
The marriage,
but yeah. So how can you relate to that character?
Oh, I mean, in some ways, I've had relationships that's very similar to that. You lose some money and then they disappear. But, I mean, you can always relate to somebody that you thought was there for your certain intentions, and then you turn around and they're completely different than what you thought.
I can agree with that, especially with you being in the industry, right? You never know what a female's true motives are, right?
I mean, you never know, but you never know what anybody's true motives are.
I mean, that's true, industry or not. That is true. A lot of people, they jump into situations for the benefit of themselves.
Right.
But you have to see a woman's perspective, though, from this movie. Does that change your point of view on women? Do you think that you would deal with them in a different light now, or?
No, I mean, I'm 36 at this point. I've had a lot of different experience with women. I've seen a lot of different scenarios. I was raised by all women. You know what I mean?
Really?
So it's like, it doesn't change my opinion on women. I don't think there's much that could change how I feel about women. Because what I heard in there wasn't just a woman's perspective or a man's perspective. It was human. We were listening to human stories of people being betrayed, or people not having strong enough boundaries where they were being violated. You know, that's what we were seeing. But that's what happens in relationships, because we either give too much because we want it to work, or we don't give enough because we're afraid of what it is. I mean, we're doing that a lot to each other, men and women. So it was interesting to watch, just from a woman's perspective, how they feel about it. Like when they're doing something where it feels like they might be extending themselves in a way that's detrimental to their own self, own identity. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just to see how they feel about it, versus how men feel about it. So it's we have similar things that happen to both of us in relationships.
Yeah.
But it's our responses to it that I think are very different between men and women.
Right. That's good. About the abuse. So I know that he was speaking about really highlighting men going through abuse and being the victims. We don't really, pay attention to that. So what is your take on that? Do you feel like, obviously we don't talk about it enough, but do you feel like as men, we need to talk about it more, we need to get more comfortable with talking about it? And what are your suggestions for men that are watching us right now that are possibly going through domestic violence?
Yeah, I had a friend come to me and literally said, hey, Justin, and I dropped him and his girl out, and his girl got out the car, and he said, and then me and him talked, and she went in the house, and me and him talking, he goes, hey man, she's been hitting me. Like, he told me, like, yo, she's been abusing me. Mm-hmm. And it was a shock, because I never had a friend say that to me, but it is definitely something that's happening. Mm-hmm. Something that I hadn't even really been aware of that was happening with men, because we don't talk about it with each other. Like you said, it's just like, there's a shame that goes along with it, because we're supposed to be strong. Just physically, we're stronger. How can we be abused? You know what I mean? When you're stronger. But I think that's something that women must understand, that men understand that. And they know that. Like, there's a lot of women out there that know that, oh, he ain't gonna do nothing to me, because you do something to me, it's over for your ass. You know what I mean? And there are mean women, there are mean men. You know what I mean? So if anything is happening in one side, it's going to be happening on the other side. And it's something that I really do understand now. And I was never made to be aware of it because no one wanted to talk about it like it was an issue, because what you didn't see was men dying over it. You do see women dying over it. And so it's like, hey, listen, you got a fire in the basement that we can put out, but their house is on fire. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like it's always been, the focus has been on women more when it comes to domestic violence, because it's just a more dire situation than it is for men. It's hurtful for men, and it's hard to address because, like, who's going to come to our rescue? You know what I mean? Like, the women going to stop? Like, I mean, the women, you know, I don't know if they're holding each other accountable in the ways that, you know, and men aren't holding each other accountable in ways. They're the homie who, like one of the stories where he's cheating on his girl and another one who's making his girl get 3 or 4 abortions and stuff like that. And I bet those guys' homies didn't keep them accountable for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lack of accountability between men and women to each other. And I think that's kind of one of the situations that, like Koja is saying, we have to fix what's going on between us. The thing is that there's no communication, there's a lack of accountability between men and women, unless specifically black men and women. That's stopping us from really creating the families and creating the world that we deserve to be in right here, especially here in America, and maybe probably even the world. Koja's from the UK, so he's seen a lot of different stuff. But here in America, like, we have to find more commonality so that we can talk to each other about these things and have these conversations without being like, oh, but you know, but how do we talk about a man getting abused? You know how many of us get abused? It almost seems like if I can come to you with who I am and why I am this way to be accepted, but even in tonight, we realize, like, oh, let's present these stories about men, and even in some minds of some of the people asking questions, you could tell that there wasn't an acceptance of what they were seeing, of the narrative of what they were seeing.
You know what? I think it's a lack of them acknowledging what they're actually doing. A lot of people, you know, unfortunately, in our community, we've seen so much abuse growing up that we think it's the norm. You know what I mean? So we're just like used to certain things going on. And then for me too, I know, as I got older, I started to realize it is physical, more than physical abuse. Like, it's financial abuse, you know what I mean? It's verbal abuse. As I was growing up, I used to think it was just physical. I wasn't getting beat, and I was okay. Too. Yeah, that as well. So I feel like that's another problem in our community as well, and not just our community, but in the world, like you were saying. Just a lack of acknowledgement, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it because I'm ashamed. If I hit you, I'm not going to want to say nothing about that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be ashamed of saying that. So I feel like that's where the lack of accountability comes in, because we're not even being open about what we're doing behind closed doors.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard to admit fault. It's hard to hold yourself accountable. And in our community, and I mean, just the communities all around, especially with men, there is we're disinterested in really holding women accountable. Because we maybe it's society where we feel like we have to protect them. We have to do everything that we can to make sure that they're safe, and that includes protecting their dignity as well. So if they hit me, I gotta be like, no, she's cool. She's just like, you know, it's me protecting a woman's honor in that sense. You know, because we always been taught to protect a woman's honor, and if she does something that's unhonorable, like that, and then I can't talk. All my boys like, oh, look at this girl, she did something unhonorable, and I'm like, I gotta protect her. And so it becomes more of a protecting a woman who did something wrong to you than actually, you know, being able to find that healing for yourself. So
question, do you think men coming out talking to each other about it, or not even just each other, but like to their mother about it, you know, or to their sister about it, is viewed as a sign of weakness?
I think at one point, I think in today's society, we're all understanding that none of us asked to be here. I didn't name myself. You know what I mean? I didn't tell you how tall I was gonna be. I didn't know what I was gonna look like. I didn't ask for this life that I'm given. And of course, you know, you're given life and you need to appreciate it, but there's so much other complications that go with living a life, a human life. So it's always good to try to figure out what's happening emotionally for you. And I think that's something that in the black community we're just now kind of opening up to, about understanding ourselves emotionally, because there's so many things that come out of how you feel emotionally: your drive, your ambition, your passion, how you love somebody else, how you take care of yourself, how you show up for other people and your family. Like all of that comes out of your emotional state.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, yes, there was a big stigma, and obviously coming up in the old school, like, you got to just be a man and tough it out. But I feel like society is definitely changing that perspective, because listen, there's, like Kojo was saying in there's enough men killing themselves for us to know that there's an issue.
Yeah. Right.
Right. And
Absolutely.
so we're either going to talk about it or you're going to kill yourself.
Right. We
Choose
can't
one.
keep doing that.
Yeah.
We need our strong black men to keep raising our younger kids, the younger generation, and help mold us as women. But so my next question for you is your views on mental health. What are your views on mental health from a man's perspective? Because I know that's not talked about a lot as well, and
Right.
you guys deal with a lot of things internally. And sometimes you do have those, those brothers in that brotherhood that you can, vent to, but in times that you cannot. What are your take on mental health?
Upkeeping mental health is important.
Yeah.
Like I said before, since we didn't talk about it so much, we didn't even understand that there was a regimen to stay healthy mentally. You know what I mean? Like, if nobody taught you how to go to the gym, how would you even build any muscle?
True.
And it's the same thing with mental health. I think for us is that we have to become more in practice with exercising that part of ourselves to get stronger. We haven't had the opportunity or even the guidance that our counterparts in different races have had in understanding that mental health is the importance of maintaining a healthy relationship to self and to the world. Like it's important. Like to the extent of everything else in your life suffers if your mental health isn't well adjusted. Yeah.
Absolutely, I definitely agree with that. Most people don't realize that when you work on your physical health, that is a part of your mental health as well. So as far as you working out daily, just running every morning, that can have a huge impact on your mental health. You know what I mean? And help you think more clearly and make better decisions.
Hey, yo, it's Justin Cornwell, and shout out to Shantiera Goes Ham.
We going ham today, y'all.